Welcome back to my channel. It is such a good day because we are going to talk about intermittent fasting. We're going to talk about the three main types of intermittent fasting, and we're going to hit on 5 common mistakes of intermittent fasting or misconceptions, things that people say that aren't necessarily true. Before we jump on into this topic, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, hit the little button down there, and give it a little thumbs up, and let's jump into it. So the first thing we're gonna do is talk about the different types of intermittent fasting. Now, there are a ton out there, but for the sake of this video, we're just gonna share the main 3 that are talked about. So the first one is 16-8 intermittent fasting. Now, I did make a video on a beginner's guide for this. This is what I have practiced and really enjoy, and so I'll link that down below if you wanna check that out. But 16-8 intermittent fasting is fasting for 16 hours and then eating in an 8-hour eating window. Now, 16-8 intermittent fasting is a great way to fast in order to have a nice lifestyle. And I say this because, yes, you're cutting out 1 meal a day, but it still allows you, if you're like a family dinner type of person, or you like to have a meal every single day, this is the perfect way to do that. And 16-8 intermittent fasting is perfect for weight loss in combination with muscle gain. The second type is alternate day fasting. Now, alternate day fasting is eating one day and then not eating the next. Alternate day fasting is supposed to be the best type of fasting for weight loss. So from my research and the research out there, if you are overweight or obese and you are really struggling, you're changing your diet or you're exercising a little bit more, but you're not able to lose the weight, alternate day fasting may be the perfect thing for you. It's not necessarily encouraged for someone who's already super lean and maybe working out a ton. Then the 16-8 might be better for you. But for someone who is overweight and really just focusing on trying to lose weight, alternate day fasting may be the best choice for you. An extended fast, or the 5-2 approach, would be fasting for a longer period of time than 24 hours. So it's gonna be more like 36 to 72 hours, or the 5-2 approach, which is not eating at all for 2 days and then eating again for 5 days. From my research again, and from the research out there, this type of fasting is best to boost your metabolism. So if you're someone who your metabolism's really slow, not eating for 2 days and then eating for 5 is kind of a good way to shock your system and maybe start getting your metabolism going at a faster rate. This type of eating shouldn't feel like it's a job, it shouldn't feel super restricted, and it shouldn't be unenjoyable. And I kind of want to hammer that home, that picking the right type of intermittent fasting for your body is key to having an enjoyable lifestyle and a sustainable one. So why I think a lot of diets aren't sustainable is because they're not enjoyable and they're super restricting. Intermittent fasting shouldn't feel like that, and if it does, it might not be for you. So you just gotta kind of find which approach fits for you in your lifestyle and is enjoyable and makes you feel good and makes you happy. So, took a little coffee break, but now we're gonna jump into the common mistakes or misconceptions of intermittent fasting. So the first mistake or first misconception I wanna talk to you guys about that people make when intermittent fasting is eating too many calories or eating tons and tons of food within their eating window. You still can overeat even if you are fasting. And this is something I think is misconstrued in the fasting world. Sometimes it's talked about that, oh, since you're limiting the time you're eating, you could have whatever you want in your window. Not true. Don't do that. You still have to be smart about how much you're consuming. Now, with that being said, I've talked about this a little bit before in past videos about being in a calorie deficit or a calorie surplus based on your goals. So calorie deficit would be eating less calories than you are burning to lose weight, and a calorie surplus would be eating more calories than you're burning to bulk or to gain muscle or weight. This is still a thing no matter if you're fasting or not. So if you are eating more calories then you're consuming and you're trying to lose weight, you still are going to gain weight even if you are fasting. And this is why it's so important to still know how much you're consuming, because you can consume too many calories or too much food even if you're fasting. Mistake number 2 when intermittent fasting is thinking you can have whatever type of food you want. Personally, from what I believe and from what I've researched, I don't think you can have whatever type of food you want and reach your goals. I have read articles, and I think, again, it's misconstrued in the fasting world, saying if you fast and limit the time you eat in, you can have hamburgers, fries, pizza, beer, whatever type of food you want and still reach your goals. I do not think that this is true. I still find it very important to have nutrient-dense whole foods in your diet in order to meet your goals. If you're filling up on greasy foods, fatty foods, foods that don't have nutritious value in them, you are not going to be able to reach your goals. Again, whether that be weight loss, whether that be muscle gain, it's still very, very important and vital to have healthy foods in your diet and in your eating window, especially because your body has been deprived of vitamins and minerals. You need to have the vegetables, the lean meats, fruits. Your body has been fasting and waiting for those foods, and it's going to react really strongly to whatever you put into your body. So if you're putting unhealthy food into your body's automatically going to react to that. Your energy levels are not going to be good. Your insulin is going to spike through the roof, and you're going to go through these waves just like a kid in the candy store eating sugar, where they have their sugar spike and then they crash and they're super tired. With all that being said, it is important and vital that you guys still eat nutrient-dense, healthy foods within your eating window. Mistake number 3 when intermittent fasting is not consuming enough food or not consuming enough calories. Because you're limiting the amount of time you're eating in, for some people who don't like to eat a lot at one time, this could be very difficult to eat enough food. With that being said, your body still needs the calories, it still needs proteins, fats, carbs, it still needs vitamins and minerals to function properly and to give you the good energy. Moving on to the 4th misconception, and this is that you have to stick to a very strict eating schedule. For most people, this can be really stressful and actually do more harm to your body than good if you're so focused on, oh my gosh, the clock just hit 12 o'clock, I'm in my eating window, I have to break my fast. That just becomes super overwhelming and not an enjoyable lifestyle for most. Now, I do want to say that if you stick to a strict schedule, you're probably going to see results faster. But you don't have to stick to a strict schedule to see results. You don't have to beat yourself up if one day, let's say, you had salmon for dinner. For me, salmon doesn't keep me full very much in the morning. And then say I go for a run. When I run, I get hungry faster. So I may get hungry around 10, 11 o'clock, and I've only been fasting for 15 hours. But oh no, I feel myself getting dizzy or getting a headache. I'm not gonna restrict myself from eating. I'm gonna break my fast with a healthy food and make myself feel a little bit better. Even though you're limiting the amount of time you're eating in, there still is some flexibility with fasting, because ultimately you have to do what makes your body feel good. That is what is most important, and most important to me to share with you guys. I want you guys to be happy, healthy, and feel your very best. A good way to do this when jumping into intermittent fasting is allowing your body to adjust. If you're somebody who's very scared of this approach to eating, I know it can be really daunting. Start by just cutting 1 hour back on your eating window, then 1 hour back until you get to that 8-hour window. And that's totally fine. Like I said, it might just take a little bit longer, but you're still gonna get there and you're gonna get to see the awesome results of intermittent fasting. Okay, we're already at my 5th misconception, and I haven't drank my coffee because I got so excited to talk to you guys, and now it's getting cold. So let's jump on in to misconception or mistake number 5 when intermittent fasting. Okay, listen closely here, because I really want anyone who's gonna be fasting to get the most out of their fast. Mistake number 5 when fasting is thinking that you can consume 500 calories or less within your fast and still be fasting. It honestly breaks my heart to see people saying that they are fasting and then they had coffee and cream in the morning and they didn't eat and they broke their fast, but they didn't have breakfast. In that case, have some delicious eggs. Anyways, you can't have 500 calories in your fasting window and be fasting, and this is because of what fasting is. So fasting is keeping your body in a state where your insulin doesn't spike. Now, this can get kind of confusing, so if you have questions, please ask me. You can have tea, you can have black coffee, you can have lemon juice or apple cider vinegar. These are the main ones that I consume that I do believe you can have in your fasting window. And why you can have these is not just because they are 0 calorie, but it's because research has shown that they don't create an insulin response. When your body has an insulin response to food, which pretty much happens if you consume 1 calorie, usually, I know this gets really confusing, then you already are taken out of a fasting window because your body is starting to process and work. Everything in your body's working once that insulin spikes up. My rule of thumb when wanting to know what you can have in your fasting window is to research it, and I want to encourage you guys to do that as well. Research it for yourself. Everything I'm saying is based off my own research, and I don't think I know everything, and there's so much out there. There's constantly new studies. So go ahead and look it up. It's super interesting. But if you have any questions, also please feel free to ask me or leave them in the comment box below. And real quick, while I'm on this topic, I do want to say my personal rule of thumb when there are foods or drinks that are really controversial or there's not a ton of research if they do break your fast or not, I personally just don't risk it and I don't consume them in my fast, and then I feel like I'm good to go. So that could be your approach as well. Or like I said, go ahead and research it and make your own opinions on if those foods will break your fast or spike your insulin at all. I do hope you were able to learn a little something about fasting today, whether that be the kind of fasting that might work best for you, your lifestyle, your body, what makes you feel good, or some of the common mistakes or misconceptions that are out there about fasting. Okay guys, that's all I have for you today. That was kind of a lot of information, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments below. All right, guys, I will stop rambling on and on and on. But if you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I love hanging out with y'all. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!